Okay, so just a quick episode of 2 Minute Tuesday today to keep everybody up to date regarding the new Spanish changes to the driving laws that came into the force at the end of March. I think it was the 21st. You might not be aware of these, so welcome to a very quick episode of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes. Okay, so we're going to fly through the changes that have come into effect. So the first one is using or holding a mobile phone whilst you're in the car. Now, obviously, you shouldn't be doing this at all. However, from the 21st of March, the penalty now will be 6 points rather than the old 3 points for driving and using a phone in your hand. The fine is still going to be €200. If you're using a phone whilst driving but it's not in your hand, then the fine will be €200 and the loss of 3 penalty points from your licence. Okay, so the next point now is littering. So throwing anything into the road or nearby which could cause either fire or an accident will be penalised with a loss of 6 licence points, which is up from the previous 4, and there's going to be a €200 to €500 fine. Okay, next one, not wearing a seatbelt. Failure to use a seatbelt or child retention systems, other elements of protection such as crash helmets for motorcyclists will result in a loss of 4 penalty points instead of the original 3, and there will be a €200 fine. So next up, we've got overtaking bicycles and mopeds. So if you're overtaking a bike or a moped, you need to fully occupy the next lane when possible. And if this isn't possible, you've got to leave a gap of 1.5 metres between you and the bike or the motorbike. Failure to do so will result in a loss of 6 points from your driving licence. It's also worth remembering that many cyclists have cameras mounted on their bikes or their helmets, so they can have evidence. The fine, again, there's a theme here, it's €200. On the topic of motorbike, people with motorcycles and mopeds are allowed to wear certified or homologised wireless devices for their helmets for communication or navigation purposes, but they're not permitted to carry a mobile phone between the helmet and the head. If you do so, it's a 3-point fine. Again, failure to wear a crash helmet or not wearing one correctly will result in a loss of 4 points on your licence rather than the previous 3. Next up, we've got overtaking on secondary roads. Now, drivers are no longer allowed to exceed the speed limit by 20 kilometres an hour when overtaking other vehicles. Drink driving with minors, well, obviously no drink driving. There's now going to be a 0 tolerance if you're a newly qualified driver for drink driving. Perhaps another one for youngsters. E-scooters. No e-scooters on the pavement or other pedestrian spaces. They must use cycle lanes or roads where they are allowed. And now, recovering points. So if you've been naughty and you've lost some points on your licence, the system for recovering lost licence points is the same as before, but the full 12 points can be recovered in 2 years now, as long as there have been no new infractions in between. Drivers no longer have to carry their driving licence with them. There's an app called Mi DGT, and if you download this app, you can have a virtual version of the driving licence. So that's it for this week's little short brief episode to bring you up to date with the new traffic regulations for Spain. For those that you don't know, in Spain, unlike say the UK where you have 0 points on your licence, you start with points on your licence and then they are deducted off if you've been naughty. Okay, until the next episode, have a nice day.